What's up, y'all? My name is Peyton, and today we are going to be breaking down another one of the Magic the Gathering decks that I have. This is not actually a deck that I have built. This is a deck that my girlfriend built. She hasn't really named it yet, but I'm going to call this deck the Big Gains deck, because this deck is all about gaining life and then using that life to screw up your opponents. All right, let's get right into this. First up, let's look at the commander. The commander is Willow Dusk Essence Sheer. You can pay 1 and tap this commander. Choose another target creature. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the amount of life you gained or lost this turn, whichever is greater. You can activate only as a sorcery. This is a part of one of the precons for this previous Magic the Gathering expansion. Not the Into the Forgotten Realms, but the one before that. She's tweaked it a little bit though, so I'm just going to go over some of the main things about this deck. First up, let's go over these cards right here. These cards are the life gain cards. First up, we've got Sun Droplet. Whenever you're dealt damage, you can put a charge counter on this bad boy, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you can remove a charge counter from it and gain 1 life. Pretty simple. This one says whenever you would gain life or draw a card, except for the first card you draw in your draw step, you draw twice as many cards or gain twice as much life. And this says right here, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Pretty sweet. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may gain 3 life. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you may gain 3 life. Search your library for 3 basic lands, put them into the battlefield tapped and shuffle, and gain 7 life. Return target creature or land card from your graveyard to the owner's hand, and you gain 6 life. Pretty sweet. And then this bad boy right here can really mess your enemies up. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures, and you create 3 food tokens. You can pay 2 and tap them to sacrifice them to gain 3 life. Pretty sweet. We got a decent amount of basic lands here, no more than you should have in your deck, and then we got non-basic lands. Actually a pretty even amount of both. It's all kind of even and delicate right there. Let's move on to this category. This category is the abilities that trigger when you gain life. This one just says whenever you gain life, target player loses that much life, and you can pay 3 and 2 black. Creatures you control gain life link until end of turn. That's a pretty beefy one right there. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Target player loses that much life once again. Lots of those up in here. This one says whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on this card. And this one over here says whenever you gain life, just put 1 +1/+1 counter on this bad boy. So a lot of pretty good triggers that happen when you do gain life. This pile over here is cards that don't really fit this deck. Not that they don't belong here, just that they don't really fit into any of the other categories I have here. They're all pretty dirty though, like this one right here. Target player draws X cards and loses X life. Pretty good life pay deck. Life pay card for you. I want to draw a couple of cards, just pay a little bit of that life you've been gaining all game. All right, let's move on to this one. This one is about the life spend, so this is what you're spending your life on. This Planeswalker right here is really filthy, okay? Its +1 ability is you draw a card and then lose 1 life. -3 ability, destroy target creature. -8 ability, target opponent gets an emblem with, whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life, okay? So, yeah, that's pretty great. That is pretty dirty right there. All right, this card right here, pay 1 and a black and tap it. Rather than pay the mana cost of the next spell that you cast this turn, you may pay life equal to that spell's mana value. Got plenty of life on board, not a lot of mana. Pretty good for your big sorcery spells up in here. For each permanent type, return up to 1 card of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. You lose 3 life for each card returned this way. Yeah, pretty good spend. Right here, we pay a black. Pay 2 life, put a +1/+1 counter on this card, and then when it leaves the battlefield, draw a card for each +1/+1 counter that was put on it. That's pretty sweet right there. A lot of good stuff to spend your life on, especially you're gaining so much of it, you might as well spend it, right? All right, now these cards are just our big boy removal cards, especially this one right here. This says, destroy all creatures. Each player loses life equal to the number of creatures they controlled that were destroyed this way. This is really, really powerful, especially if you already have a board wipe in here, which there is a few removals over here, not that many. But if somebody board wipes and then goes off on their turn, you can drop this card and teach them a lesson for doing so. You know what I mean? Right over here. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you gain life this turn. Destroy target non-land permanent, destroy target non-land permanent right there. And this one says destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less. Pretty sweet removal. These 3 cards are just about getting lands onto the battlefield. This is just some basic mana ramp right here. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. Nothing too crazy right there. Alright, y'all. That's pretty much going to be it for this deck. I like it. Well, I don't like playing against it. She's beat me a whole bunch of times, and I'm not gonna lie, every time she whips out this deck, I get a little nervous. It's really good against my deck of creation because my deck of creation does not have a lot of removal in it, and she is really good at just controlling my creatures and using them against me and gaining life and destroying them. All right, that's gonna be it for this deck. Hope you all enjoy the video. Peace out.